MAAZI Nnamdi Kanu have instructed the wailers. When I mean wailers, I mean the cry babies in the house who chooses to use him to catch cruise. He says, and I quote, "Nobody should plead on my behalf. Don't you plead on my behalf." Na muwa Nnamdi Kanu akpugi chiche bilinga. Na muwa Nnamdi Kanu ọhamadike wan nke ndị Igbo akpugi isi ma egene wee chebilinga. Nnamdi Kanu made it clear to everybody that yawa ya ha nwụ n'ime nga. Are you hearing me now that yawa ya nwụ n'ime nga? And ndị zu enwere ife ha ya eme ya. So nobody should come out and say plead for mercy, have tamper justice with mercy or tamper justice with injustice. He said that anybody who tries that again should be dragged to court by a lawyer, Jimako. Even if you like, be his wife, his son. If you like, make you be his immediate younger or senior brother. He said from now onwards, he don't care. That he is coming out from that DSS with the referendum of Biafra at hand. So that is more reason why he don't care how long it takes for him to be free. But the bottom line is that he must be free when the time is right. That is the headline. Protest erupts in Rivers community as police officer kills man. The people who have been given guns, ammunition to guide and protect lives and property is now the ones who are destroying lives and property. That is the only country in the whole world called Zojuria. A country that a military officer whom you are paying salary with your taxpayers' money will stand before you and the general public, even in a live video, and tell you that I will shoot you and nothing will happen. I will end up shooting you and nothing will happen. Is there any day you open Nigerian newspaper, you will not see policeman, NSCDC, military, or whoever, all the security personnel killing the people who they are using their taxpayers' money to pay them salaries? Only one country in the whole of the world is Zojuria, that is the poverty capital of the world, animal kingdom. There's no any day you wake up with good news about that country. Since I was born till today that I'm old, I have never heard any good news about that country. And you tell me that is a country. No, that is a state and capital. 2025 budget. Snakes. Termites catches mbu. Monkeys must not wallow $1.7 billion. Atiku warns Tinubu's government because that is their modus operandi. These people that to get out. IPOB heads to Supreme Court, challenges terrorism prescription. Another Nigerian Benjamin Onyibo dies in South Africa police custody. Egbo na ya. Ndị Igbo, Borole ka mkpọrọ n'ugboro ịtọ. You are being hated all over the world. They hate you in South, they hate you in East, they hate you in North, and they hate you in West. They are killing you in your own country. You are not safe. Even in abroad, you are also not safe. Then who is to blame? Should we blame ourselves because we have had the tradition of traveling wide and near? Who is to blame in this regard? If you know the answer, drop it at the comment section. Oba of Benin releases mother's funeral program 49 years after her death. Wow, this one, it shocked me. My people, I beg, let us go straight to the reason why we are here. Happy Monday to you all, and it shall be well with all of us in this new week. Chukwu oke abịama ya gozie onye ukwu gozie onye nta mepere anyị ụzọ duru anyị na-eje duru anyị na-abata ọ ga-amara nwoke mma mara nwaanyị mma n'afọ a Chukwu oke abịama onye pụrụ ihe niile ise. The lawyer representing the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdi Kanu, has stated that his client's release should be based on legal competence and not clemency or pardon. Kanu's legal counsel allowed Ejimako all those begging his release to desist from the act, insisting that IPOB leader has committed no crime known to the law. The warning was contained in a statement titled "Upholding the Rule of Law is more important to me than anything else," which is MAAZI Nnamdi Kanu's lyrics. According to the statement, Kanu appreciated the widespread calls for his release, but maintained that both the Federal High Court in Nigeria and international tribunals have declared his detention unlawful. He insisted that the government must adhere to these rulings and release him unconditionally. The matter of releasing MAAZI Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, pardon, executive clemency, or even amnesty. Instead, it should be an act of simply complying with the subsisting Federal High Court judgment that declared his detention unconstitutional, or even the extant international tribunal decisions that separately declared his detention unlawful, the statement reads. Ejimako further conveyed Kanu's stance that his case does not require clemency, as he believes he has committed no crime known to the law. Onyendo MAAZI Nnamdi Kanu is adamant that nobody should plead or beg anybody on his behalf because he has committed no crime. Self-determination, which is a real issue that got twisted to suddenly become a high crime, is an inalienable right guaranteed under the laws of Nigeria, the United Nations, the United Kingdom, and Kenya. The perverse and unlawful criminalization of his exercise of this right should not be unwittingly be encouraged through some misguided appeals for pardon, clemency, or mercy. Releasing MAAZI Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy or pardon, but an act of abiding by the rule of law that guides every country. Kanu's lawyer also warned that calls for his pardon could be misinterpreted as an admission of guilt, which could embolden the executive branch and courts to continue what he described as unlawful prosecution. As much as those calling for his release are sincere, their calls for pardon or clemency may be misconstrued as a green light to the executive branch or even the courts to violate the rule of law by continuing to subject MAAZI Nnamdi Kanu to prosecution or trial that does not comport with the tenets of the Constitution of Nigeria's treaty obligations, Ejimako stated. Instead of pleading, Kanu urged supporters to adopt the approach of groups such as Afenifere, Ohanaeze, the World Igbo Congress, members of the National Assembly, and international organizations that have insisted he has committed no offense and should be released unconditionally. Protest in Rivers State as police kill innocent man. There is a judicial killing of a youth by a police officer in Omagwa community, Ikwere local government area of Rivers State, has sparked protests. Nigerians learned that incident occurred when the policeman attached to the Omagwa division of the Rivers State Police Command shot and killed Chikuma Egbulu, a native of the community. This sparked instant protest in the community, which is also a host community for the Port Harcourt International Airport, as the protesters carried the body of the slain youth to the Omagwa Divisional Police Station, where they intended to deposit it. However, resisted and repelled by the police officers on the ground, the protesters blocked the road in agitation, causing gridlock on the busy highway leading to the airport and Owerri in Imo State. Confirming the incident to Channel Television, the spokesperson for the Rivers State Police Command, Grace Irene Jikoko, said that the trigger-happy cop had been arrested and the body of the deceased had been deposited at the morgue. She said the command is aware and the CP is on top of the situation. Normalcy has now been restored and the adequate security is present on the ground to prevent any breach of peace. The corpse have been deposited at the morgue while the police officers have been detained while an investigation is ongoing. 2025 budget. Snake and termite and monkeys will not swallow $1.7 billion. Atiku warns Tinubu's government. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has cautioned that funds allocated to Nigeria's health sector in the 2027 budget must not suffer the same fate as past public funds allegedly swallowed by animals such as snakes, termites, gorillas, and monkeys. The Bola Tinubu-led federal government has earned, or have earmarked $1.07 billion for the primary healthcare sector, in addition to 2.48 trillion naira initially proposed for the healthcare in the 2025 budget. Nigerians recall that in recent years, reports of missing government funds blamed on the bizarre circumstances has surfaced, with little to no investigation or accountability till date. In a statement, he personally released on Sunday articles stressed that with the dwindling national resources and the withdrawing of foreign support for key healthcare services, every kobo allocated to health sector must be properly utilized. The former vice president criticized the lack of transparency in the government's plans for spending these funds. He said, "We have read that the federal government has a plan to expand a whopping sum of $1.07 billion in the primary health sector. This amount is in addition to the 2.48 trillion naira which had earlier been proposed for the health sector in the initial draft of the budget." Atiku, a former People's Democratic Party (PDP) presidential candidate, expressed concern over the source of the additional $1.07 billion, revealing that it was mainly sourced through foreign loans, with a portion provided by an international donor agency. He insisted that Nigerians have a right to know the details of these loans, how they will be prepaid, and how the funds will be effectively spent. In other words, Nigeria is expected to pay these loans back, and it is required that the Nigerian people know the details of these loans, and that its expenditure must be conveyed in a policy enveloped that will explain how it will be spent, he said. Atiku criticized the Fulani government's failure to commit to physical infrastructure development in its health budget, describing it as suspicious. According to the government's official statement, the funds will be used to enhance governance in healthcare and strengthen primary healthcare services. This includes the recruitment, training, and retention of healthcare workers and teachers at the sub-national levels. However, Atiku challenged this justification, arguing that without clear accountability mechanism, the budget could be mismanaged and also be stolen by snakes and every other thing. Snake has swallowed money, monkey has swallowed money, all in Nigeria. Until today, nobody was prosecuted or rather dragged to court. IPOB heads to Supreme Court to challenge terrorism prescription. Indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB has taken its legal fight against its designation as a terrorist organization to the Supreme Court, seeking to overturn a ruling by the Court of Appeal Abuja Division that upheld its prescription by the Fulani government. Dissatisfied with the appellate court decision, IPOB's legal team, led by a lawyer Jimako, along with PAN Ejiofor, Maxwell Okpara, Judu Oke Ugwuanyi, Patrick Agazie, Mandela Umoburogu, and Magnus Ikenna Nwangu, has filed an appeal before the Apex Court, arguing that the ruling violates constitutional provisions on fair hearing. IPOB's group's appeal, or grounds of appeal rather. IPOB notice of appeal outlines several key legal arguments, including number 1, violation of fair hearing, section 36 of the 1999 Constitution. IPOB argued that ex parte order used to prescribe the group was granted without affording it an opportunity to be heard, violating its constitutional right to fair hearing. Number 2, misinterpretation of national security versus fundamental rights. The group asserted that the Court of Appeal misinterpreted the Constitution by prioritizing national security concerns over fundamental human rights, particularly the right to fair hearing. Number 3, failure to meet criminal law standards. IPOB contends that the Fulani government failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it engages in terrorism as required in criminal proceedings. Number 4, Discrimination against Igbo ethnic groups, Section 42 of the Constitution. The appeal claimed that the prescription unfairly targets IPOB members who are predominantly of Igbo origin, amounting to ethnic discrimination. Number 5. Overreach of judicial powers, Section 305 of the Constitution. IPOB argues that the Court of Appeal exceeded its jurisdiction by upholding a ruling that effectively declared a state of emergency, a power reserved exclusively for the President under the Constitution. Number 6. Right to self-determination under international law. Relying on the African Charter on Human Rights and the People's Rights, IPOB maintains that its agitation for Biafra fails within the framework of international human rights law and does not justify a terrorism designation. Number 7. Indefinite use of ex parte orders. The appeal challenges the indefinite applications of an ex parte order, citing judicial precedents that emphasizes the need for due process in such rulings. Prayers before the Supreme Court. IPOB is urging the Supreme Court to reverse the Court of Appeal decision affirming its prescription, declare its prescription unconstitutional, and nullify the federal government classification of IPOB as a terrorist organization. The Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, is listed as a respondent in the case, as IPOB challenges the Fulani government legal justification for its prescription. Another Nigerian, Benjamin Okoli, dies in South African police custody. The Nigerian Citizen Association in South Africa, NICASA, has condemned the death of a 40-year-old Nigerian, Benjamin Okoli, who reportedly died while in police custody. Okoli's tragic death comes less than a month after NICASA also condemned the alleged killing of another Nigerian 50-year-old Jeremiah Okoye in a police custody on January 13. These are all Igbos. Igbo nọ n'ugwu, Igbo nọ na mgbada. Igbo nọ na South Africa, Igbo nọ na Nigeria, Igbo nọ na Congo, Igbo nọ na Niger. They too much. Speaking to journalists, NICASA President General Dr. Frank Onyekwelu described the recurring deaths of Nigerians in South Africa as unbearable. Nigerian community in South Africa is mourning yet another loss in police custody. Okoli from Akpu in Orumba South, Anambra State, was stopped, searched, and taken to his house with his brother for further inspection, Onyekwelu said. He alleged that despite finding nothing incriminating, the officer tortured, beat, and brutalized the two brothers. Okoli reportedly fell into a coma due to the severe assault, while his brother, desperate attempts to revive him, were unsuccessful. The police stood by and watched as Okoli's life slipped away. Paramedics later arrived and pronounced him dead, Onyekwelu added. NICASA expressed further concern that Okoli's death occurred while investigations were still ongoing into the death of Okoye, alleged at the hands of the same police unit. This is the same group of officers accused of killing Okoye. Now, 2 Nigerians have died in police custody in less than a month, Onyekwelu stated. NICASA leaders in Limpopo province say they are deeply troubled by what they see as a disturbing pattern of Nigerian nationals being targeted. We call on the Independent Police Investigation Directorate to ensure the officers responsible for these gruesome deaths are being brought to justice, Onyekwelu urged. The association has informed the Nigerian nations in Pretoria and Johannesburg about the incident and is pushing for diplomatic intervention to prevent further killings. We appeal to our nationals to remain calm, law-abiding, and continue their daily activities peacefully, Onyekwelu added. Oba Ewure 2 releases mother's burial program 49 years after her death. The Oba of Benin, Oba Ewure 2, on Sunday released programs for the funeral rites of his mother 49 years after her transition. Daily Post report that the Benin monarch, who disclosed this in a statement made available to newsmen in Benin City, said The funeral rites were delayed because the tradition and customs of the kingdom forbid the crown prince, the Iken, to perform the rite.